You're watching Lansdowne Raw, the voice of the fans. I'm Martin Prendergast, joined by Conor McAvoy, and tonight we're catching up on all the latest in Irish football, including Queevy and Kelleher bailing out Collins for Keith Andrews' Brentford as they beat Man United, a first MLS start for Andrew Moran, and of course we'll be checking in with Obig to see how our lads have been getting on. It's Lansdowne Raw and it's live. How you getting on, Conor? You welcome to the show, everybody. How you getting on, Conor? You well? Unmute yourself would help on this fine Monday evening.
I'm good. I'm glad to have on and have a new camera finally for once, because that last week was a bit stressed with that. Can you hear me all right? Can you? Yeah,
we can.
Yeah, but it's good to have a new camera after. Actually, I've upgraded, so it was a positive in a way, isn't it, Martin? When you break something and you get an upgrade to your setup. Yeah. But yeah, it's good to be back on. Good to have another probably depressing weekend of football from an Irish point of view, which is coming a bit too common over the last couple of weeks, and which really you wouldn't really expect, because we've a lot of lads playing a high level, but maybe because it's the high level, it's harder to do. But yeah, it's good to be back on, and after watching that Everton match tonight was a bit worrying at times. But yeah, how are you doing?
Yeah, not bad, thanks. Busy weekend, watching lots and lots of sport, of course. So we had the Ryder Cup, obviously. Congratulations to Europe, Shane Lowry, fantastic, and Rory, of course, from an Irish perspective. But that was really enjoyable, of course. Very, very busy. I've seen the NFL was in Dublin as well. I tried to catch up a little bit of that. It's not really my bag, but I watched a bit of it. And then obviously you had the Premier League, you had MLS action, of course, as well. So we'll be catching up with all of that on Obig. But if you are new to the show, most interactive Irish football podcast out there, make sure you do hit that subscribe button, drop a like on this video and share it with your mates. Let them know that this is an interactive Irish football podcast where already we're getting comments flooding in. We want to hear from you, the Raw faithful. And of course, we've got a big ask for you, though, a very, very big ask for you, the Raw faithful, because we have some exciting news last week about the pod, and this is the Football Content Awards. We're delighted that we've been nominated and we were made the finalists for the best international podcast. So if you can go on to the link that we'll have in the show notes, we'll actually throw that up in between the show, during the show, so you can click while you're distracted with our random ramblings about Irish football, and you'll be able to click the link on international podcast and obviously give us your vote. We would really appreciate your support, continued support, I would say, as well. And I'm really happy that we're back, Conor. I'm with you, the star of the show, Rep Tracker himself. And this is it. We're going to cover everything tonight.
Back. Yeah. And we'll go through the squad. We want people to put in the comments, actually, because we spoke the other day on Roar Plus. If you wanted more in-depth look at what we had to assess in the squad and what we think needs to change, and what especially the manager needs to change more than anything come Thursday. But since there's a few things happened over the weekend, it's swayed me a bit, in fairness, Martin. So it's worth us talking ahead of Thursday's squad announcement about who we want to come into the squad and who we don't. We want people in the comments to put into the squad who they want to come in, because I'm sure there's a few obvious standout names that want to come in. There's a few people I want to come in that people won't have. Me and Dave had a good argument the other day about a certain player that I don't want in the squad anymore. Actually, Martin doesn't want him in as well. But yeah, it's good to be back on, Martin, isn't it? Because actually, as well, just most be worth saying, we are going to do an announcement on the stream tonight of a giveaway of FC26 that we're giving away to anyone who voted for us in for Football Content Awards, and commented on it, the Instagram page, or put their proof of voting really in the comments of Facebook or Twitter either. But we've decided we're going to extend it, Martin, till tomorrow. So if anyone's watching this live or watches it between now and tomorrow, maybe afternoon, they can still enter themselves in. And if you go to any of our social pages, you'll see how you can enter. It's very simple. It's a chance to win an FC26 for free, which is I've actually bought it, Martin, for the first time in about 3 years, and it's actually been the most enjoyable one they've made in quite a while. Well, because it usually gets worse and worse every year, but it's been an improvement this year, so it's actually quite enjoyable. So it's well worth entering that giveaway, and it's a way of supporting us as well, isn't it?
Yep, and that's it. We want to go back to the Raw faithful. We've done a few competitions in the past, of course, as well. So yeah, and as Conor was just referencing there, this Lansdowne Raw Plus is our $4.99 a month. That's where you get extra content. So this is always going to be free to everybody. We love doing these live shows, of course, but if you want to get extra content, we have our Raw Retro on there. We have State of Play, which is our take on the modern game. And yeah, we had a very late midweek chat this week, all three of us on Lansdowne Raw Plus, where we had it was what was his name? The guy who basically made us fall out with each other? Who's given us that great
Aaron Gubbins. After we were
Aaron Gubbins?
as we were saying, me and you were so positive after the last video about actually we're going to go to Portugal and we're going to win and we're going to get 4 points from the window, and now we just all just and in a misery mode, and we all just thinking of all the negatives and all how shit we've been all as of late, and then we kind of thought,
we actually had a bit of a realist kind of approach to picking the squad. Thanks to Aaron for his wonderful suggestion, making us all fall out about 1:30 in the morning. We're recording that, having a bit of fun, and basically picking the squad, pulling apart Ireland's tenure under Heimer's tenure to date, and now we're reflooded with optimism again as international week. International window will be approaching us fast, and we'll have obviously the squad being announced on Thursday, where Conor's going to cover that all for us, of course, at Rep Tracker. So make sure you do subscribe to the channel, as I've said, and make sure you give Conor a follow there at Rep Tracker, of course. Right, so where to start? I mean, a very busy weekend with some of our lads in action, and watched a bit of the West Ham. We were recording this just after West Ham got a draw at Everton's fantastic looking new stadium, to be fair. It was their first night game, I think, there, wasn't it? On a midweek. So it looked absolutely brilliant, I think, under the lights there. Jake O'Brien played, didn't he? Any views on that straight away, Conor? Just because I know a number of our viewers probably will have watched that this evening. Jake O'Brien, how do you think he got on?
I thought he was quite poor, to be honest with you. It's kind of the worst I've seen him this season anyway with Everton. He kind of, in fairness, he was up against a very tricky winger, that type of winger you don't want to go up against him in Somerville, who got man in the match in the end, but he had O'Brien on toast. But in all honesty, like, who plays at fullback and doesn't get put on toast at least once a season or a couple of times a season? It's the first time I've seen him really looked like he kind of looked all over the shop at the back. But I'm not really that surprised, to be honest with you, Martin, because Somerville's a great player and he's a sort of player that it'll give O'Brien a tough night. But I was a bit surprised, actually. I was quite disappointed that Coleman didn't come on for him after maybe 70, 75 minutes, because I thought Coleman, although Coleman, it was not like Coleman would have just put him straight in his pocket. I think he would have just suited a lot more. I think he would have suited it a lot better, just with the size wise that he could match up quick, easier with him, and he maybe has that. I think O'Brien is actually quite quick, but in terms of his turning and when the ball's put in behind, he's very, very slow. He turns like a JCB, as I would say sometimes, which it happened to him actually in Armenia for the second goal, and it almost happened again tonight. But Pickford actually did brilliantly to come across and put it out of play. But yeah, it was a difficult night for O'Brien, but I'm not one I'm worried about really, because they drew 1-1 in the end, and I know he nearly did cause a goal, but he didn't. He wasn't the fault for the goal or anything. So one that we can move on from, and I was just a bit disappointed Coleman didn't play.
But we are talking about, like, speculating about obviously the squad and stuff. Would you be concerned that, like, Coleman hasn't got minutes tonight and where he is, like, in his kind of season so far? Did he get any game time in the League Cup during the week? He did, didn't he? Come off 78th minute. Yeah, he was captain for that one. Yeah. Any concerns though? Do you know that he's
no?
I'm looking to get in there at the moment.
I'm not concerned that he's not playing because it's O'Brien playing over. Maybe if it was Patterson, who I think is quite weak, I think he's quite poor compared to O'Brien. Like, O'Brien's a centre back playing out full back, I would be a bit more worried. But because O'Brien actually has done quite well, I'm not worried. Like, Coleman actually was quite good for them last week when he played against Wolves in the Cup, which is not an easy, like, obviously going against the Premier League opposition who haven't started the season well, but they kind of picked up a bit of form last week with that one in the Cup, and then they drew Spurs away, which they really should have won. But no, I'm not too worried about Coleman. I think there is I don't know if the word worry, but there's like a bit of maybe a disappointment that he hasn't played more than just the EFL Cup so far this season. We'd like to see him get some minutes in the Premier League, and maybe after O'Brien struggles tonight, we might see Coleman get some minutes at the weekend against Palace, which will be a very tough game. Might see, maybe if he even got half an hour, it'd be good to see. Just head into the national break. He probably won't play in the national break, or I don't think he'll definitely won't play the first game anyway, because of it's a big game to come straight back in for after missing a lot of time and not playing a lot for Everton this season, especially when your direct competition is the lad that's playing over you for Everton. But yeah, because I think we all know Martin, he's nailed on to come back into the squad on Thursday. And the big thing for me is he'll be named in the squad, and he won't be carrying an injury, or the fear always was coming. Always is, and he always picked up a bad injury the weekend. The squad's announced in the squad, and then picks up an injury a couple of days after. So maybe we're better off letting him have a rest against Palace the weekend, or give him 5 minutes or something, and then he can come into the Ireland squad, because it's always disappointing when you see our leader miss out.
Yeah, I think it is so important as well. Like we've been speaking a lot on the pod recently. Just we have a number of leaders within our squad, but they've actually got to lead. Basically, ironically, they've got to actually step up and make their colleagues, teammates, accountable for these mistakes and errors on the pitch and stuff. And I think it's going to be a really interesting window coming up. Of course, big challenge for Ireland, going off to Lisbon and then taking on Armenia at home. And I keep emphasising as well that early kickoff game when we're over there in Lisbon, and we'll have it all covered here on Lansdowne Roar, of course. But we'll be trying to keep a close eye on Armenia taking on Hungary, because it's a key game in the group. Now
it's not early kickoff, is it?
Getting away. It's before us, isn't it?
Is it? Because it's in Hungary.
Yeah, a couple of hours before.
Is it? I thought it was the game that was in Armenia itself.
It might be, but it's I think it is before us though. On the day, it will be.
It is. Yeah, it's 5 o'clock. Yeah, you're right. Yes, 5 o'clock. So it'll be 6 o'clock off when we're in.
Yeah, and in the words of someone else on this pod, don't doubt me.
Sorry.
So we will come on. Those of you new to the show, just let you know that how the format of this. We want to hear from you. Want to hear your views. Most interactive Irish football podcast out there. Give us your take on the squad. Who you want to see in. Who you want to see out. No holds barred. You can say whatever you want within reason, as long as you're not abusive too much. You're not like an American fan at the Ryder Cup giving a load of abuse. Just keep it clean, within reason, of course. But we'll be coming on to talk about how the lads got on. That's big. That's our feature where we catch up with how the players have got on over the weekend. But we will have a chat first of all, will we, about how some of the lads. I mean, this was a key early kickoff on Saturday. Here he is, fantasy league team for me. Quivin Kelleher made a fantastic penalty save for Brentford. Got Collins out of jail against Bruno Fernandes. Ironically, I would have earned points for the penalty if it had gone in, but I got them. So that's just the way it was. But I mean, Collins, a bit of debate on that, wasn't there? VAR. Should he have been sent off, or was he just a very tactical foul? As I think maybe Jamie Carragher put it.
He said he knew he'd save it. Martin, obviously, he should have been sent off. It's crazy he wasn't sent off. Yeah. What are the referees doing? How is on a clear and obvious foul, or a clear and obvious red card? It's just crazy. Was it because the referee didn't give an initial red card? They didn't want to overturn it, but yeah, it's ridiculous. He didn't get sent off. It was really, really poor from Collins. The thing is, Leinster's situations are probably off taking the goal and letting Mbeumo maybe take the finish and risk it rather than the penalty. But in fairness, when you have Kelleher on goals, anything's possible. But if we would have got the red card, if Collins would have got sent off there, I'd say it would have been a lot more pressure on Kelleher and a lot less pressure on Bruno to penalty. Yeah, and it wasn't just Kelleher saving Collins' blushes. He was saving his own blushes, and he was saving Andrew's blushes as well. Because if that would have went to all United, probably would have went and got a winner, and then the pressure wouldn't right on top of Andrews, even though he did brilliantly at the weekend. The 15 goals weren't up his fault, because the first goal, Kelleher was flapping all over the place. In all fairness, he should have done a lot better for the first goal. It was really poor. I know Mbeumo slightly pushed him, but you'd expect him to be stronger in that sort of situation, which has been, as I said to you actually tonight, it's not been the greatest start to the season for Kelleher. For Brentford, obviously he was very good for Ireland, but for Brentford he's not been that great, even though we all know he's top keeper. He's just adjusting to that new club. But yeah, it's not been the greatest start of the season for Kelleher, but he saved Collins' arse. That's all that matters. Collins made that mistake and gave away the penalty, and I think it'll probably take a lot of pressure off Collins himself that he kind of made that mistake, but he got let out of jail, especially after last weekend against Fulham. There was no coming back from it, but this sort of thing last weekend, he can kind of laugh at and move on, and they can build. They got the 3 points, most important thing, especially when he's the captain. He'll probably take a lot of responsibility for how poor they kind of started the season before the United game. I know they got a good draw against Chelsea, but in terms of points wise, it's not been great. But yeah, I don't know if you agree with me, but I think Kelleher saved 3 people really bad penalties save.
Yeah, no, fantastic. I mean, he's got an incredible record, and I was hoping on Armenia when the penalty was given that he was going to step up and do that there. I mean, the record of him is absolutely brilliant. It was quite interesting. I was at Infield Town's match the other day which was also an interesting FA Cup game. But I was just overhearing like lads were on the phone next to me checking their, just chatting before the game basically, and they were chatting about Kelleher and going, "Oh, what a steal he was for that money, and how good he is," and But they were quite scathing about Ireland, and I didn't have the heart to disappoint myself by getting involved with them, trying to defend him. But they were just talking about but how good he is and his penalty record, of course. So it is something so important in the modern game, and he's brilliant at that, of course. Just come on to another goalkeeper, of course, a friend of the show, and I don't think he was an award winner last year. Josh Keeley, Super Josh Keeley in goal. That's him getting the Player of the Month for Luton. A fantastic start to his career there. Obviously moved from Spurs last year after being on loan at Leyton Orient, but a brilliant move. I think it's worked out fantastically well, especially when you think of some movement from Luton's squad. Of course, Mark McGuinness leaving, wasn't he? So fantastic, well done to him. And a bit of speculation, I suppose. We're going to come on and chat later on about the squad, but Bazunu is currently not in the Southampton team, not in not getting game time. Is it time now Josh Keeley perhaps does get that call up again, but a more prominent role within the squad?
Yeah, it's the second most important award he's won in the last 4 months after winning Goal of the Year on Lansdowne Roar Awards, thanks to the fans.
Yeah.
Remember, don't forget that, Martin. Remember who you voted for. Just remember you voted for Rocco Vata. One job. But I'm really worried for Gavin, to be honest. At the moment, I did say this summer he was a player I wanted to get a move because his relationship with Southampton fans, well, not relationship, but his hopes that Southampton fans thought of him was already quite low. They didn't expect any of them. A lot of them were hoping to sign a new keeper in the summer. And even we thought he started brilliantly with that first game, if you remember, against Wrexham. He pulled off it was a world-class save. In fairness, I think it was Ryan Hardy stopped it, and Manning pulled out that unbelievable free kick, and you think, oh, maybe this started something really good. Especially when you hear of the manager like Will Steele. He's kind of one of them new generation managers that everyone seems to think is just going to start playing this liquid football, and you think maybe Bazunu would fit in perfectly in style. But it's been really, really underwhelming, to be honest. He's the second lowest save percentage in the championship. I do think it is quite harsh because he's in a team that doesn't face a huge amount of shots, which kind of, if they're scoring from every shot they take, it'll kind of work against favour. But he's not been up to the level we've expected him, to be honest, because he's such a talented keeper, and he's so much, the thing is, he's only a year older than Josh Keeley, and he's already played in the Premier League. He's already played for Standard Liège. He's had a season in the Championship where he done quite well under Russell Martin, and it's not a good sign when you're getting dropped for Alex McCarthy, who's quite a poor keeper, who made a mistake midweek against Liverpool, don't forget, in the Cup, and he still came in from in the league. So obviously Will still was that desperate really to get Gavin out of the team, which is not a good sign. And but he said, I'm not singling out one man, but you pretty much are singling out one man when he was the only change he made to the team. And it is not a good sign going forward for Gavin Bazunu, because I still expect him to be named in the squad on Thursday over Josh Keeley. But I think if him being dropped in the squad might have came maybe a week earlier or 2 weeks earlier, and it was 2 weeks of him sitting on the bench over Alex McCarthy, it's a really poor sign. And they drew 1-1 against Middlesbrough, and McCarthy was quite perfect to goal. I would have put any money in Bazunu saving the goal, but I don't think McCarthy's going to come out of the team. I think it's the sort of thing. Will Still's made his decision. He's going to stick with it maybe until January, and then they'll sign a new keeper, because this is not where Gavin will want to be. And I'd say it's quite tough mentally to come back from this sort of thing, especially even though he's come back from an Achilles injury, which is a lot tougher really to come back from. But when sitting on the bench for a keeper that was never thought of being in the first choice keeper, and I think maybe should we really consider bringing in Josh Keeley for this next window, because that would be only one keeper in the squad is playing regular minutes, and Josh Keeley obviously got Player of the Month for Luton, which is no surprise because he's just a top keeper.
Yeah, no, I think completely. I mean, I feel sorry for Gavin, of course, come back from that awful injury, but you do need your players to be sharp and match fit as well. And I wouldn't have any hesitation Keeley coming in if, for example, Kelleher plays, God forbid, any injury or anything, and then you've got a player who is match sharp. It's so important, and it's such an important role as well, of course, goalkeeper. So let us know your thoughts on the goalkeeper and generally the squad as well. We're going to come on, obviously, and cover Obig and let you know how the lads got on over the weekend. And this is another player we're just going to flag up quickly. Andrew Moran, another one of the darling of the rep tracker at the moment. Here he is, Andrew Moran, playing over in America. How did he get on? You had a late night rendezvous with him?
What do you know about of the moment? He's always been rep trackers. He's always been rep trackers kind of number one talent in Irish football for the last probably 5 years at this stage, 6 years maybe, because how long he's been unbelievable for. And yeah, luckily I stayed up till 1:30. I wasn't in the game on Saturday evening was a 1:30 in the morning. I was like, fuck it, I'll stay up and I'll watch Andrew's game to see how he does, because I knew he was going to be starting because Tillman was suspended, and Tillman's not quite liked by the LAFC fans, and they wanted Moran starting anyway, so it was the perfect chance to bring him in. And yeah, he was exceptional, Martin. He was a joy to watch. I put a tweet and I forgot how good he was, because when you watch that lad play with the ball at his feet, it's just magic. It's just a player that kicks the ball. He takes it on the half turn on either feet. His energy, he was really good as well. One thing he'd always lack is a bit of physicality and size. And it's probably the only reason he's not playing in the Premier League right now is because he doesn't have that, what you'd say, world-class athleticism or world-class like size, because he's quite a small frame. But he was absolutely brilliant. He was exceptional. His playmaking, his creativity, his keeping the ball simple, never makes the wrong decision. His football brain is absolutely brilliant, because a lot of lads, even playing with LAFC, that are very good talents, but decision making can be quite poor time. He never makes the wrong decision. And his ball carrying, I think he made 3 tackles. He put a slide tackle in, thinking, I think I was actually with Frank was watching it as well, and I was texting him saying, "As Andrew Moore just put a slide tackle in, just call him up now, just put him in the squad already." And when I was watching the other day, I was just thinking, how is this lad not in the Ireland squad? It's the sort of thing I've said to you, is you play your best players and you build around them, and the reality is he is our best creative player. I know Finn Izaz is obviously brilliant number 10 and stuff, but they're different types of 10s in that way. Izaz is more of a ball striker and going for goal, whilst Moran will keep the possession brilliantly. He'll create these chances. He'll take the ball in the half turn. He'll play 1-2s. He's just so slick in possession. The LAFC fans absolutely love him already, and he's an unbelievable player. He's just so much talent. He is. With the ball at his feet, he's absolutely elite. And the thing is, when I look at that, like, he could easily he was playing as like a number 10. He was playing as a 10, which is his best position, but you can see he can easily drop back into deeper midfield, which he done quite a bit the start of last season for Stoke, and was quite good until the manager got sacked initially. And he was really, really good. He could be really, really good there, I think, for Ireland, especially this Armenia game at home, Martin. If we can't trust Andrew Moore, he's playing in the MLS, where people try and have this thing about the MLS. I know it's not the Premier League. I know it's not the German league or the French league. But when you look at the last World Cup, the number 6 country that was represented by league-wise was MLS after the top 5 leagues. More players playing in the MLS played in the last World Cup than the Portuguese league, the Dutch league, the Championship, where we seem to see every player go to. And the reality is, he's not going to the Saudi league. It's the sort of thing I think of. If some player's being tested against really good sides and he's playing well, and maybe he's not the Premier League, but he's playing in competitive games, and the MLS playoffs are starting very soon, and they're third in the Western Conference, and they'll want to try and hopefully get up to first. It's a real opportunity for Moran to get valuable minutes and really impress, because he's just such a talent. And I know they actually have 3 games over the international window, so the LAFC would probably be desperate to keep him. But if I was Heimer Hallgrimsson, we'll talk about our squad soon, but he would be 100% be one of the names of the squad. I think it's just ridiculous that we don't pick him anyway, because he's just that good. When you have a player that's that talent, you just pick him anyway. And I don't like, when you think about our media game, like, he should have been like playing Jack Taylor as a number 10 instead of having Andrew Moore in the squad is a bit ridiculous. I know Finn Izaz are kind of 10 at the moment, but it's just crazy to me he's not in the squad. And just watching him at the weekend just emphasizes how good he is and how you can leave a lad out of that talent. Like, it's just crazy to me, Martin. I don't know if you agree, because
No. I mean, I didn't. Well, I've not stayed up till all hours watching him, but you know, I know what a great talented player he is, of course. And hearing you wax lyrical about him every week, again, you know, you're backing your man, which is fantastic. But you know, like a couple of points. I mean, I was glad you came up with the point about the MLS being so well represented at previous World Cups, because I think people still are quite dismissive of American football and just thinking, oh, it's this. And, you know, he's gone over there and he's going to be on good money, but it's Mickey Mouse. And it's not. We know that. But the other point then I thought was really important, like you said, is, you know, pick your best players, your most talented players, and build around them. And that's something, you know, a lot of Irish fans would have, you know, been clamoring in the past for the likes of Jack Byrne, Wes Hoolahan, Andy Reid, those talented players who can kind of create a bit of magic from nothing at times. You know, Andy Moran, I think, has got that, hasn't he? So, yeah. You know, we don't have those type of players anymore. And I think one of the things, you know, we've had a lot of debates over the last few weeks as well, just talking about some of our talented players coming through and how they're kind of, it's coached out of them. It's a big thing I've got, you know, with modern day footballers, like who is the most, we had a big debate last time, didn't we, about who's the most, you know, trickiest Ireland player, who's got tricks, who's clever and things like that. And we know that he can bring that. So it'd be interesting what Heimer does with that. Just, the fact he's in America, we're going to come on and chat about the squad, of course, and see what we think. And we want to hear from you as well. Let us know who you think want to see in the squad, obviously, coming up for these massive games in Irish football coming up the next few weeks.
And the thing is, Martin, he's not a luxury player. He's not like as Dave will say with Finn Azaz, because Finn Azaz's only real weakness is his off ball, because he's quite slow. And like Wes was kind of at times could be a luxury player because he kind of lacked a bit off the ball. But Andy Moore doesn't. It's just physicality wise, that's it. But it's not like he's slow or he doesn't get stuck in. It's just that he's quite small compared to the rest of the players in the pitch. But he's not like he's 5'2". What he'd be probably with 5'7", 5'8". Like, so he's not a midget, but he's just quite physically small. And it's not like we're going to be, if he's on the pitch, you're going to be without top player. Like, he's still going to be affecting the game. And when the ball goes into his feet and the way he takes it in the turn, he'll either push you up the pitch or he'll just keep it simple and keep hold of it, which a lot of Irish players struggle to do. So particularly this Armenia game at home, I just think it's just not having him in the squad would be crazy for that, because we need these sort of players playing in our midfield, and especially even in deeper positions when Jack Taylor hasn't played a minute for Ipswich since the last international break, and we were hoping maybe some of these lads would have a good weekend after coming back from internationals, and a lot did struggle. I know the first weekend a lot of them went back and done quite well, but since then it's been a real struggle.
Yeah, I mean, it's just going to be what Heimer does, though, isn't it? Like, is he going to make lots and lots of changes, or is he going to just be quite solid with it all? I don't know. I mean, we'll come on and chat about that, of course. But Moran did play in Wembley, didn't he, in November? So, important that he was.
Dave doesn't like when I speak about when he came on that day, and he actually was our best player. But if you could see how much better he was than the rest of our midfielders when he came on that day for the last 20 minutes.
Yeah. So again, like we're chatting about a player who's obviously gone to the MLS, and we were talking about, Obafemi's move. Players we've been talking in the last few months about, the transfer window was open, people having to get moves to play regularly, and that's what he's going to do now. So fantastic to see. So we're going to get on to Obig very, very soon. But I thought, first of all, I would show you again and remind you of our fantastic flasks that we have available. I'm going to put up a link in a minute where you can purchase those. We've got them in silver and black, and these are commemorative 5-ounce whiskey flasks, really class little things we have with the FAI logo from 88 and also 94. So if you do want to buy one of them, have a look in the notes. It does help us support the show as well. I will put it up in the comments where you can link for where you can buy those if you want to support us. But yeah, do appreciate your support of that. But they're really, really class. It went down very well in November. And this is the time of year where you want to be getting the whiskey flask ready before on our international travels. Maybe not. Yeah, go on.
To double down on how you can vote, or you can, even if you're talking about whiskey flasks advertising here, I'll show everyone how to vote, how they can vote for
right.
Lansdowne Roar. So if anyone is struggling to vote, I'm sure you can see your Martin, can you?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah. So all you have to do is go down. Oh, sorry,
sharing the screen. This could be dangerous.
Find the podcast international. Lansdowne Roar, simple, bish bash bosh. I agree terms and conditions. Vote now.
And you don't have to enter anything, do you? You just crack on.
No, you have to set up an account, right? So that's all you have to do, really, to vote for us. Like, it's so simple, isn't it, Martin? You just click the button, you click vote now. So it's just important. If anyone's struggling to vote and they think, I have to sign up or something, or if you have to vote in every single category, you don't. You just have to vote for our category, and you vote for Lansdowne Roar. And obviously, every vote will matter. And the thing is, when we have an audience like ours, every one vote will add up. And I know we have some stiff competition, but it'll be good to hopefully do as well as possible and maybe win us something or finish the top 3 in the night, and we can take something home to represent in Ireland, because I know there's no one else in our category. There's no other podcast actually from Ireland involved in any category, so it's important that we represent the country well, isn't it?
Oh, of course, yeah, that's it. So our chance of winning something, and we're very optimistic still that we're going to the World Cup. That's why me and Conor did the show tonight. Miserable Dave's not here, but he would be very happy if you voted. Let's make Dave happy and get your votes in. Really, really good. Right, we're going to go on to Obig, and this is where we catch up with the latest action from the Irish players, of course. So we're going to start off with the goalkeepers. Here we go. Okay, so goalkeepers play for Ireland. Queeveen Kelleher, 90 minutes in a 2-1 win and a penalty save against Man United for Brentford. Max O'Leary, unfortunately, is still out injured with Bristol City. Josh Keeley, 90 minutes in a 1-0 win versus Doncaster for Luton Town and earned player of the month. And Mark Travers is an unused sub for Everton. And Gavin Bazunu also unused sub, which is very disappointing, obviously, for him. We did have a chat about the goalkeepers earlier, but as I said, fantastic for Josh Keeley, doing really, really well, and Queeveen on the back of a good performance. And while we're talking a bit of Brentford again, we must give another little mention of your favourite former Ireland manager and pundit or general voice box on all things Irish football, Martin O'Neill. More comments, hating on Andrews, digging him out. Anything more to add on that, Conor, or should we move on?
Oh, I wish he just shut up. I can't stand him.
He's got a book out. He's got a book out.
Yeah, I know he's on a media tour, and I know he's been asked about Andrews, which is people are going to ask him if he came on here. We'd ask him about Andrews, but we'd have a go back at him saying you're just being bitter, like, because he's going on with his long throws. And actually, Diego Bryan was taking long throws again tonight. Oh, if I see them this next week for Ireland, that's the end for me. But yeah, he's just tough to listen to. Actually, just on goalkeepers, Max O'Leary was back in action today. He played for Bristol City under 21s against Charlton, which is his first game back. But I think he's going to really struggle to get back in at Bristol City. What's it? Viatek, whatever his name is, the United keepers on loan has been absolutely brilliant for them so far this season. So I don't see him getting back in, to be honest, this season, unless he starts to really tear it up or do really, really poorly, because it's going to be a real struggle for O'Leary to get back in, which will obviously take him out of the Ireland picture then if he's not playing in the Championship.
Yeah, of course. Right, we're going to come on to the defenders. Here we go. So we've got Robbie Brady still out injured. Preston North End. Seamus Coleman, unused sub this evening against West Ham. Nathan Collins, 90 minutes in that 2-1 win with a booking as well. Got away with a send it off against United. Matt Doherty, 45 minutes in a 1-1 draw versus Spurs for Wolves. Josh Honohan, 90 minutes, an assist in 2-1 win versus Bows. Jake O'Brien, 90 minutes in that 1-1 draw this evening with against West Ham. Andrew Omobamidele, 12 minutes, 2-1 loss versus Marseille. Darragh O'Shea, 90 minutes in a 2-1 win versus Portsmouth, captain of Ipswich. Liam Scales, 90 minutes, 0-0 versus Hibs for Celtic. And James Abankwah was an unused sub for Watford. And Jimmy Dunn, 90 minutes in a 1-1 draw versus Sheffield Wednesday for QPR. Callum O'Dowda, 6 minutes in a 2-0 win versus Gavor for Ferencváros. Mark McGuinness, 90 minutes in a 1-0 win versus Oxford Sheffield United. And Ryan Manning, 90 minutes in a 1-1 draw versus Borough for Southampton. Aaron Cashin, 45 minutes, 3-0 loss versus Coventry for Birmingham. Anselmo Garcia McNulty for Dave, 90 minutes, 2-1 loss versus Volendam. And Will Ferry, 90 minutes, 2-0 loss versus Kilmarnock. And Corinne Nadaba, 20 minutes, 2-2 draw versus Bologna for Lecce.
We finally have
wrong. I've got it right.
No, we finally have Corinne Nadaba.
Finally got him on it. Yeah.
Finally got him on it. Got him added today. Actually, some of my defenders added the big now.
Yeah.
Probably come like retire or something, so we can take them all because there's some of my defenders in there. But anyone catch your eye this weekend, Martin? From the defenders' point of view, your Callum O'Dowda. I know he started midweek in the Europa League, and he'll probably start again next week. But he's barely played it all in the league. He's barely kicked the ball for them in the league. Like it's been quite weird, hasn't it?
It's been a bit weird. I mean, I think the omission from the last squad was a bit strange as well. But it could be all over really in a sense. I thought he moved over there, playing, trying to play Champions League football, and did quite well at the start. Maybe managing these injuries and stuff. We don't know really, do we, how his body is kind of coping with life as a professional footballer, because he's been so hit and miss in and out of Ireland squads. And he's one, like I referred to earlier. He's one when he came through. He was quite young, exciting, trusted by Martin O'Neill as well to play behind the striker against Denmark in that first leg playoff in 2019. And then he kind of got coached out of him. I think he went far too safe as a player then with his different moves where he was playing. So, and then injuries have caught up with him. I mean, he's only 31, is he? I think so. I think it could be over for Ireland, sadly. But especially my worry with him is that he didn't get in there when obviously Robbie Brady was out last time. But Abankwah as well. Are you concerned that he's not playing at Watford? Because he was, high hopes last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, and he was really good, and he was quite good to start this season. And then this new manager's a clown. Did you see his post match thing that went viral on Twitter?
No,
Speaking
I
after
didn't
the
know.
match, and he was talking about, "Oh, I need these players, you need it, and this and that." And I don't know, I didn't make friends, but he was an Italian and he would speak some English, and then he had to get the translator to speak the rest of the time. So it was just shocking, and it was the most demotivating looking thing I've ever seen in the post match in dressing room, and the players just did not look. He'll be gone soon. It's Watford, like he'll be gone soon.
Basket case,
And
aren't they?
yeah,
I thought they had a bit of stability with Tom Cleverley that time, and I seem to think they fixed this a little bit what they're doing,
yeah.
but strange club.
Sacking Cleverley was a joke. They say, no, we
Yeah.
should have got playoffs last season. Our squad, like cop on, they shouldn't have got playoffs. That squad, their squad's not a playoff team, and and they should have kept Cleverley. Hopefully, if they do sack this fella, they might actually approach Plymouth to get Cleverley back, because they could do with him back, and because Rocco didn't play at the weekend either, which we'll get to. But like this new manager, I don't like him at all. Like he's just a clown. But other defenders, Josh Honahan, unreal again for Rovers the weekend against Bows. There a question mark about should he really come in as that other left back, because the reality is when he picked one left back for the last squad, like are we going to go with two this time to balance things up maybe a bit more? Doherty only got 40. He started. I was very surprised actually to see him start at the weekend against Spurs. Hit the crossbar just before half time. He got a yellow card, and I was thinking, oh, maybe he might stay up there, taking off at half time, which is not a great look. But you think he might come out of the next hour in the squad because we just think he will, because someone has to be made the scapegoat, don't they? Owen Bamadelli got more minutes, which is good to see.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, we'll come on about Doherty a little bit there, because I mean, it wasn't a good performance, of course, against Hungary, the 2-2 draw. Norton, whatever way Hamer kind of said, that we were a better team, and we still struggled. We got late 2-2 draw to give us a bit of hope. Then obviously getting off to Armenia, but he did make Doherty the scapegoat there. He played him on the left, but and I'm not saying Doherty should be in the Ireland squad at all, but he played him on the left, which we know he can do, but he has made him scapegoat now, and I think he's got a very fair argument to say, well, I wasn't on the pitch on against Armenia, so how can you blame me for that performance? And but I don't think he'll be in the squad. But it's just I think that will be his justification to be in the media in a few weeks if he's not picked, moaning about this being disrespectful further. Anyway, on to the midfielders. Here we go. We've got Jason Knight, 85 minutes, 0-0 draw versus Preston North End. Killian Phillips, 90 minutes in the goal and a 1-0 win versus Dundee. Will Smallbone, 68 minutes in a 1-1 draw versus Swansea for Millwall. Jack Taylor, unused sub for Ipswich. John Joe Patrick Finn, not in the squad for Stan Rame. Josh Cullen, 79 minutes in a 5-1 loss versus Man City for Burnley. Benazaz, 64 minutes in a 1-1 draw versus Borough. And Mark Sykes, 90 minutes, 0-0 draw versus Preston North End. Jason Malumbi, 90 minutes in a 1-1 draw versus Leicester for West Brom. And Andy Moran, 77 minutes, 3-0 win versus St. Louis. Jamie McGrath, 38 minutes in a 0-0 draw versus Celtic for Hibs. Alan Brown, 27 minutes in a 1-1 draw versus Southampton for Middlesbrough. And Boston Lowell, 90 minutes, 1-1 draw, Stoke City against Norwich. And Conor Coventry, 90 minutes, 3-0 win versus Blackburn for Charlton. Melenik Ali, 75 minutes, 1-0 win versus Doncaster for Luton Town. And Joe Hodge, 23 minutes, 2-1 win versus Santa Clara for Tondela. Few interesting ones, I think, to go through there. Cousin Will, how did he play for Millwall?
I actually missed up. That game was, what was it? It was early kickoff Saturday, sorry. I missed that. I was watching United Brentford, but I seemed to do all right from stats wise and all. It seemed to be a good building block for him to get, what was it, 70 or 68 minutes, which is quite good, especially when you don't come off after 60 minutes. It's usually a sign you've done quite all right. But yeah, he done quite well. More good to see Phillips get goal, especially because he's under, I guess, a lot of stick from our Irish fans, which I don't think is his own fault in all honesty. Jimmy McGrath, who maybe would have been looking to possibly break back in, got injured at Celtic Park at the weekend. Conor Coventry is a name I think could really be in with a chance for Thursday squad. Heimer name dropped him at the last squad announcement, how much he'd been impressed with him at the start of the season, and he's continued to play really, really well for Charlton. He's been excellent. And obviously, David are actually going very well. No one expects him to go in as well. So I think he could be a real option for Thursday's squad. And obviously, we expect Malumbi to come back in, but could McGrath come in as well? It's a bit disappointing. Boston's still the centre half, but their fans are desperate to get him in midfield at this stage. Maybe the fan push might push him in there. And yeah, Jack Taylor could be an option to come out because ever since the international break, what's been we played 3 games and 80 minutes or something when that game against Blackburn, remember, was ruled or was abandoned for the rain, and he hasn't played a single minute at all. So it's like, can you keep a lad in? I know. And then he got taken off at half time of the Armenia game, so it's not great. And I think the big talking point from the midfield at the weekend was Jason Knight's 65 game streak of playing 90 minutes of every single game had come to an end, which is quite sad. He that was probably a record he actually probably was quite proud of. Played every minute of every game last season. And what was it? January 2024 against Preston was the last time he didn't play 90 minutes. And it was on Saturday against Preston away again, where the record was broken. Came off after 85 minutes with an injury.
That is incredible, isn't it? I mean, fair play to him. And he's always been there for Ireland as well, to be fair. But that is, in this modern day and age of football with rotation and all that kind of stuff, that is a brilliant achievement. So fair play to him. Yeah, sorry to see it come to an end, but they do come to an end. And
hopefully hopefully his injury it wasn't bad.
Hopefully he's not too threatening. Just a quick one as well. Finn Azaz, he went back to former club Borough. What was the reception there?
I don't know. I think both had happened at home, weren't they? Or was it away? I actually can't remember.
Oh, was it?
No, maybe it was away. Maybe it was away. I can't remember. But I don't know. I wasn't watching it, but to be honest with you, I watched. Who did I watch at 3 o'clock? I can't remember. I was watching some other Irish game with Irish players, and I wasn't watching that game.
How can you watch any game at 3 o'clock? Can you? Oh, I don't know. Oh no, you're in Ireland. You can.
Yeah, I'm in Ireland. I can.
In the EU.
I'm in the EU, but it's on the Zone. The Zone have access to 3 o'clock.
Oh right, yeah.
Okay. But I didn't see it. But he hasn't started that well. It so happened. I know it's a new club and all, but he hasn't started that well. Obviously, he's not a great club for Irish players at the moment with Bazunu getting dropped, and Manning's doing all right in fairness. So.
Yeah, be an interesting watch though, of course. So that was the midfielders. Right, we'll come on to the attackers. Here we go. Forwards for Ireland. The goal scorers for next few weeks. Festi Ebisele, 45 minutes, 2-1 loss versus Konyaspor. Evan Ferguson, 30 minutes and a 2-0 win versus Verona for AS Roma. Adam Ida only got 10 minutes and a 1-1 draw versus Millwall. Casey McAteer, 16 minutes, 2-1 win versus Portsmouth. Troy Parrott still out injured with AZ Alkmaar at the moment. Sammy Schmodix, 90 minutes, 2-1 win versus Portsmouth for Ipswich Town. Sinclair Armstrong, only 5 minutes in a 0-0 draw versus Preston North End for Bristol City. Mikey Johnson, 86 minutes in a 1-1 draw versus Leicester for West Brom. And Rocco Vata is an unused sub for Watford. Tom Cannon, 30 minutes and 1-0 win versus Oxford United for Sheffield United. Chidozie Ogbene, 90 minutes and assist in a 1-0 win versus Oxford United for Sheffield United again. Michael Obafemi not in the squad for Bosham. Tyler Goodrum, unused sub, Oxford United. Adomo Imaku, 88 minutes and 1-1 draw versus Swansea for Millwall. Johnny Kenny, 16 minutes, 0-0 draw versus Hibs for Celtic. And Louis Barry, an unused sub for Sheffield United. One little thing for me, Tyler Goodrum, I don't know what he's even doing in there. He might as well have me in there.
Yeah, he hasn't kicked on this season, which has been quite sad. He actually had a good season last year, and he just hasn't kicked on. I don't know why. If he doesn't kick on anytime soon, he might have to make his way. But he's a really talented player. I just don't know why. I don't know what's going. Only signed a new contract when he was linked to, you'd say, bigger championship clubs not that long ago. So I don't know what's the situation.
And possibly Louis Barry, was name checked as well, wasn't he, by Hamer recently? That could be one. But just while we were chatting Everton earlier, Dewsbury Hall, I mean, he was a player that, we kind of broke a little bit, didn't we? That possibly could be on the radar for Ireland. I thought he was very impressive tonight, though. He did look quite good.
Yeah. He's so much busy, like he's so busy. He gets around the park so much, and technically he's class like as well. So yeah, he'd be Ireland's best midfielder since Roy Keane if he came in. So yeah, he is. He's a class player.
Agent Coleman, get on the case. Yeah.
Maybe if he came in the squad first, I would be buzzing. Reality is, if Kieran and Dewsbury Hall was named in Thursday squad, the buzz would be unbelievable, wouldn't it? All the buzz would come back. Yeah. We'd all be, because no one is expecting it. The buzz would be unreal. Like, thing is, FAI would need to do something. You'd need to some sort of. I know it's international football and announcement videos aren't really good, but you'd have to do a bit of something for it, wouldn't you? You'd have to make some sort of video out of it. You'd have to make something cool. Or someone him and Colin maybe at the training ground speaking about it, and you'd put like maybe 10 minutes for the squads and it'd be class. But yeah, and stuff more realistic. We're better off talking about players we definitely know what to play for Ireland. Yeah, it's a bit worrying. Eda's not really getting the minutes he wants so far at Swansea, but I know probably will kick on. Joey's on 40 grand a week. That's why he's probably pushed for the movie on 40 grand a week at Swansea. So obviously they think highly of him, which is good. So as the strikers like Sinclair's not getting the minutes he wants. Hopefully he might start tomorrow. They play Sheffield United, I think. Hopefully he might start because it's midweek, 2 games in a week. Tom Cannon's not really getting the minutes he wants. Good to see Gio get an assist actually at the weekend, play 90 minutes as well for Sheffield United, especially with Chris Weiler going back in. You can tell Ogbenny be the type of winger maybe that he like. Maybe Barry mightn't be that great for Barry. I know he's only kind of new to the club as well, but yeah, it seems to be a good move so far. Ogbenny, and he got the assist. It was a great assist for Callum O'Hare on their first game back. And the thing is, Aidan Maku has been very, very impressive for Millwall over recent weeks. He's been really, really good, and he was excellent for the 21s last campaign. And he's a really good finisher. He's absolutely rapid, can use both feet, can play on either wing. He could really be an option to come into the Ireland squad. I don't think he will because of kind of bringing in enough people, and because I think Fessy will come back in. McAteer's not really doing that well as of the thing is, if it's between picking 2 out of McAteer, Ogbenny and Fessy, McAteer could be the one to fall out, because I think Fessy just has to come back in unless Fessy's looked at it as a right back option. But yeah, it's something. I think is and Rocco Vata not getting any minutes is just ridiculous. I can't believe what's this new manager at Watford. Like, he's just a clown, to be honest with you. He doesn't have a clue, and he'll be gone. He'll be gone in the next few weeks. Don't worry, he'll be gone probably international break. He'll get the usual, the Watford where they put the flag out. It's just a tradition at Watford every couple of months, if the corner flag, taking a picture of it when a club statement, and it's just the manager has been sacked.
Oh god, yeah. I've seen that. Yeah, God, it's interesting. That
it's our favorite thing to do.
Favorite little thing.
Yeah, they love to do that, and every other club's kind of jumped on the bandwagon since.
Yeah. Right. We're going to come on to your comments, but one thing we are going to chat about tonight, of course, just as we wrap up the show quite soon. We're just going to throw up this squad from the last game, of course, the Ireland squad. So we want to know who you think. We're going to give our names of who we think is going to make the squad, or perhaps might be cut as well. So the squad from last time was Kelleher, Bazunu, Travers, Doherty, O'Brien, Jimmy Dunn, Darrow Shea, Nathan Collins, Boston Lewell, Liam Scales, Ryan Manning, Jason Knight, Josh Cullen, Jack Taylor, Killian Phillips, Evan Ferguson, Adam Eder, Troy Parrott, obviously was out injured. Johnny Kenny got called in. Casey McAteer, Finn Azaz, Mikey Johnson, Chidozie Ogbene, and Sammy Schmodic. So let us know what your view is for the squad that you think will be picked this Thursday. Connor's going to have that all covered for us from Dublin. But we're going to come on now to your comments, and then
we're not going to. We're not going to say who we want first, so people can react to who we want in the squad.
Oh yeah, okay, all right. So we'll put it up then. All right, we'll go with that, and then we'll go comments. Okay. Your goalkeepers. We will obviously be doing a squad reaction show on Thursday evening, where we'll catch up with actually the actual squad that Hamer does pick for them key games, where we're going to have it covered. We have you covered here on Lansdowne Raw. We're going to be over in Lisbon on the Friday night, Saturday of match day, of course, as well, and we'll be doing lots of pre-match activities around the city of Lisbon. Fine place to visit, I'm sure. Meeting up with Ireland fans, and you'll be able to get all the content you need there, all the news from the squad, early team news as well from inside the stadium with Dave and Conor doing the pre-match show, and aftermath immediately reaction, Wi-Fi permitting from inside the stadium. It's going to be a fantastic trip as well. 2,500 Irish fans going over there. If you have been lucky enough to get a ticket, FAI ticket news coming up, make sure you do log into that account if you've got that email, and make sure you pay, because they will need the payment obviously before, so they can release tickets expected at the end of this week. And then we're all off to Dublin in the green on Tuesday, when Ireland take on Armenia in a very, very important World Cup qualifier. On the back of 3 points earned in Lisbon, we'll be there again for our pre-match show, and we'll be in Slattery's pre-match, which is our host venue for all our home games in Dublin for the World Cup qualifiers. So looking forward to that. So Conor, your changes for the squad, goalkeepers, any changes to those 3?
Yeah, firstly, like the video as well. We're on 8 likes on YouTube just so get us up to 20 likes. Get up to 20 likes. Just click the like button if you're on YouTube, or if you're on Twitter or Facebook. Run over to YouTube and click the likes. But yeah, just away from that, Martin. When we spoke about this the other day, like, as much as I want Josh Keeley to come in, I think it's just the safe thing, and I think he will go with it. And I wouldn't really have an issue with going with this for you, but I do worry that if you're going to have 3 keepers in and 2 of them don't play for the club at all, I think you have to bring in Keeley then. So I think I would have Josh Keeley come in over Bazunu, to be honest with you. Give Bazunu maybe that fresh start, that even because over the international break, obviously these clubs kind of play in-house games or play against other maybe championship clubs and friendlies with the players that are still there, and maybe it could be better off giving Gavin not the window off, but or even if it's dropping Travers, because what's the long-term thing with Travers anymore? Because he is quite relatively young, but he's not like a young baby keeper that's playing backup that'll eventually get his chance. He's not going to get his chance at Everton. I don't think he ever will. And it's just what's the long term aspirations for him sitting as that number 2 at Everton. So I would think maybe it's now time to bring Josh in, particularly the fact that our 2 aren't playing. I don't know if you agree with me.
I do agree with you completely. I think he has to come in. Travers, we know what it's just today's kind of gone for him. I mean, he's up against 2 really talented goalkeepers, one of whom now is playing first team football regularly in the Premier League, and has that vast experience of Champions League football as well, and has won a lot of trophies. So that's always going to have him in the number 1 role for me now. Bazunu, just the injuries have gone against him, but I would definitely bring in, the whole point of developing goalkeepers, especially the under 21s coming through, is, you give them the experience there, and they can't just be waiting to be capped till 27, 28. They've got to be getting those squads early and pushing, because that's their, he's motivated by that, hasn't he? He's moved on from Spurs, as we've seen, player of the month award at Luton, fantastic start to his career there. So I think you've got to reward that, and you can't have him too long out of the international setup now that he's older than 21. So I think he's got to be coming in as first choice keeper for me, Josh Keeley. Very biased, aren't we, Connor?
Yeah, but it does make sense, because I've seen lots of people online say the same. Yeah, a lot of people online think the same.
Yeah,
but anyway,
it's got
on to your defenders. So you go on.
Yeah, sorry. So yeah, defenders wise, we obviously, as I said, we have I think Matt Doherty will be. I think that's the end of Matt Doherty. I'd like to see Matt Doherty not picked, of course. I think Jimmy Dunn's also another one who's in danger of possibly missing out. I think Seamus Coleman could come back in there just for the leadership alone. So I think he's definitely one for me. I think would be coming in there. And I could see Festi coming in there as a right wing back. I know for that kind of role, in a sense. I can't see anyone else coming in as centre backs. Liam Scales, another one though. I just think, again, we know what we're going to get with him, but he's always going to be 3rd or 4th choice centre back. And yeah, he'll come in and be honest and give you a performance if he can. But like Andrew Omobamidele, if he's fit enough, he's a future player for me rather than Scales. McGuinness obviously moved. I think this is what I want to see. I don't think he's going to do this. He won't upset that squad that much, to be honest. But I think we've just got to be thinking a little bit of players who've been in there who actually are the future, rather than just hanging on for players who give them, call them up every squad for 4 years and they hardly get a cap. They're not obviously in contention to actually push the ones who are playing. Yeah, very similar. Yeah, exactly it. Yeah, so that'd be my views on defenders. Any for you?
In fairness, Scales he's done more than Kevin Long has a club.
Oh, he has, yeah, of course.
Celtic, and he probably has been Celtic's player of the year so far, so I don't see him dropping out, and he has that left footer balance. Actually, it was good to see Cashin get 45 minutes the weekend. He'll probably definitely start this weekend. He's starting to build him in up for Birmingham, who will be competing for the playoffs, so it should be a good low move, of course, this season. I know the likes of Dave gets real all panicky because he doesn't play the first couple of weeks, and Dave was abusing me for saying he's a good player, but just wait. Patience is a virtue, as one would say.
Yeah, and like I said earlier, I don't think O'Dowd will get back in there now. I think it might just be over. It'd be interesting. It'll just show you, though, if it, it's a question I want to ask. I mean, Josh Honohan as well could possibly be one. He's one I actually think could come in there for that left side place. I mean, it's criminal. It's mad, really, isn't it? It's just like, I know, probably going off topic here. Rep Tracker Keane's left-footed, and I keep saying to him, just there's not many of you around. Like, it's incredible. Like, Luke Shaw for England still getting in the England squad. One of the reasons they won't win the World Cup next year. A World Cup team cannot have Luke Shaw in it and win it. So same thing with Ireland. Such a left up.
He did score in a Euro. He did score. He scored in a Euro.
Still, you can't. He's a problem with Man United being so shy. He's still there. No one's been pushing him.
But on my defenders, Doherty I would take out. I do feel bad for him because he's kind of been scapegoated, because I don't think he shouldn't have been playing left back in that first game, and as bad as the mistakes he made were, he shouldn't have been there, which comes back to one person. But yeah, I would have Coleman obviously come straight back in for him as a start coming in. Dunn as well. I just don't know what Jimmy Dunn offers to this team. Not because he's a good player, he's a very good player. Technically, he's good. But I don't just see where he's ever going to play and offer coming in. Felt like the Bulgaria game in March was just a good chance to give him his debut and was good for his profile. But it's like, where does he go from? Where does he come into the squad? Like, if a defender gets injured, he's not going to play in defence. And if a fullback gets injured, he's not going to play at fullback for Ireland. Like, he's never going to play. Wise Festi will come in. Maybe Jimmy Dunn is the sort of player comes in and trains really well. Not going to kick up a fuss. He's just happy to be there. He got his debut in March. So it's not like he's complaining on when am I ever going to make my debut. He got his debut made, but I'll probably have him coming out. And yeah, if Mobamedeli was fully fit and playing week in, week out, definitely would have in the squad. Martin, he's arguably could end up being our most talented defender. I think he could be an unbelievable player, but he just can't stay fit at the moment. Or as Dave would like to say, he'll be retired by the time he's 25, which is the craziest statement I've ever heard. But yeah, in terms of defenders else, because I'd like to see Boscombe in the midfield, but unless he plays there at the weekend or Stoke play midweek, plays in one of them gives midfield, I don't think he's really an option in midfield. But yeah, there'd be, and Josh Honahan really is an option, Martin. He could be an option at full back because we didn't pick left-sided players, maybe less a left back maybe, or if one of the only picked two strikers, maybe he could come in. But yeah, what happened to days of us picking 24, 25 men and then just leaving a couple out of the match day squad? What happened to them?
You should pick a 27-man squad and leave 3 out, and then 1 out on the match day.
Yeah, but was that Stephen Kenny didn't pick 27, did he? Or was that before? But Stephen Kenny used to pick 25 anyway, or 26.
Yeah.
And I used to leave maybe 2 out in a match day squad. It used to always be, it used to be quite annoying. It used to always be like the lad that was getting his first call up would always get dropped out of the squad. Remember Troy Parrott got left out at one stage and we were thinking, oh, where's Troy Parrott going to go from here? But I remember Conor Ronan came in and everyone was excited to hopefully see Conor Ronan play for Ireland. And maybe it was Obafemi as well, or Festi when he was first called up.
Hogan used to always be left out. O'Dowda used to be left out. Mick left O'Dowda out.
But the thing is, I think it's better off having more. I know I don't want to say it's money saving because I don't think it is. I don't think that's the reason. I just think it's better off having the lads.
I did say that. I did say that once, and I got told off.
Oh, so it's not money saving. It's So obviously it's just maybe to think it's better for preparation if or on a match and no one's going to kick up a fuss or no one's going to be really annoyed like that. Yeah. But maybe if it's coming in for the next squad, well, I've been left out of the match day squad for 2 games. If I'm carrying a bit of a knock, why would I want to come join the squad, or why would I want to join the squad if I know if I'm not going to get in the match? But I just think it's worth doing that. Get these extra couple of lads in, and we're not arguing about who's going to be in the squad, Josh Honahan or Callum O'Dowda. Why don't we get both of them in the squad if we're that 50-50 between 2 lads, which maybe it might end up having to be anyway if it's 25-26. But I think I bring back the good old days of doing that. But yeah, they're my defenders. Like, Martin, what's your midfielders?
I think it does. I think it does push them. It does obviously push them having more competition in there. I mean, I also think back to how scandalously, in a way, Robbie Brady was treated that time. I think he might not have made the matchday squad, or he wasn't even used when he came off a family holiday. I know he's a professional footballer and stuff, but he got called up late. Came in from a family holiday, went and arrived there to play for Ireland, and then didn't even get picked. So that was another one was a bit strange of a Kenny decision, I think, back in the day. But this one. Just on the defenders, though, looking at that, where we are with Jimmy Dunn, Liam Scales as well, for all of the mistakes and poor form that Collins has sadly shown recently, he's made a few mistakes, right, for Ireland. Jake O'Brien hasn't looked massively solid. O'Shea as well, like conceding real sloppy goals and mistakes in them, even basic things like passing. But none of them other defenders are able to kind of turn around and go, why am I not being given a chance? Why am the likes of John Egan and Duffy used to come flip-flop in and out of squads and get a second chance with it, basically. Duffy used to get dropped and then he'd come back in and he'd play really, really well in the next squad and when we needed a result. Whereas I think just the caliber, perhaps, of player who are there, like Jimmy Dunn, very solid for QPR, of course, but I just think some of them, the caliber of them, that they're not, maybe the personality of them, they're not demanding that, he's playing shit. Why are you not giving me a chance in there? Like, are they content just being in there in the squad?
The only one that you can say really could make go in there and could really kick up a fuss and give out about it is if we needed a centre half. And obviously Boston, how good he's been for Stoke this season. It's like he's been better than Darragh has been for Ipswich, so it could be the sort of thing he could kick up a fuss, be like, these lads have been awful, but I don't think he's that personality, and he's probably too young to maybe do that. It's different if you've played a couple, maybe if John Egan came into the squad and did something like that. But I know people have asked John Egan to come back in, but I just don't think I don't think he'd really be under consideration anymore, which is a shame because he's a really talented player, but maybe he's at the age now and he's with a club that's not challenging at the top end championship, which managers do seem to consideration what level of championship club they're with. Like Mark McGuinness seemed to come straight out of the squad when Luton were struggling, but he could be another name coming. He's a really good player. But anyway, on to midfielders.
Another one started in Wembley. I mean, it's mad, isn't it? Look, we're talking about nearly a year on, 10 months on. Crazy. The midfielders now. So Jason Knight, Josh Cullen, Jack Taylor, and Killian Phillips in their last time. I think Phillips will come out. I think, I hope there's not a lot of, a few comments wasn't there that he's like a competition winner and things like that, just a standard and level. But, fair play to him. Fantastic moment for him when he made his debut. I think Malumbi has to come back in there for me, without a doubt. I don't think Smallbone's done enough Cousin Will has done enough yet to get back in there. I know you'll talk about Andy Moran probably as a striker, will you? But I think Malumbi has to come in there for Phillips. Jack Taylor's one I think as well, doesn't do enough for me, quality wise, and we are limited. I mean, I'm counting Boston the Wow as a midfielder in this, and I want to see him being given a chance. And also, we made the point the other night when we were chatting, Conor, not rowing, but we're also classing the likes of Sammy Schmodix at number 10, isn't it? Really, they're midfielders. So too
Finazaz as well,
yeah. So
nonsense.
Although they've got 4 there, I think all of them are going to be in there. Sammy Schmodix again will come on a little bit in a minute when we talk about the attackers, when my views on him.
But anyway, my midfielders, I actually changed up since the weekend with my midfielders as well. Knight, obviously he's going to be injury worry, but I think he probably should be right now. Jason Knight will probably recover in lightning speed. Josh Cullen obviously as well. Yeah, Phillips, unfortunately, I just think he's not ready yet, or maybe it's too big of a step up at club level coming from St Mirren to playing for Ireland. Maybe it's just the adaptation of the speed of play, and everything's just so much higher from Scotland. Maybe I would say maybe next season, at the end of the season, maybe he might get moved to a championship club or something, which maybe will really get him more used to what international football level might be, because people may be writing him off too soon, thinking, oh man, he'll never play for Ireland again. He's still only 23, so he's still a baby in football terms, especially at this level. But yeah, I would actually have Conor Coventry coming in for Jack Taylor.
Yeah.
I think Conor Coventry's he's a leader as well. He's captain Ireland on 21 level. He has, is he the record appearances, or he's top 2? I think himself and Leo Connor are the top 2. I think Leo Connor actually, I think it's himself and Leo Connor are the top 2 for record appearances for Ireland 21s. And yeah, I think he's a brilliant player. He's really kicked on. He's a player we've been waiting to kick on for quite a while because of how good he is. And we all thought we have him and Declan Rice with the 2 West Ham lads going through, and don't worry, we have him anyway. But yeah, it just hasn't went well at club level so far, especially a lot of these lads when they go out on loan. When you're not a permanent player at these clubs, it's very tough, particularly in the EFL. If you have one bad game, you're kind of hung out to dry. And yeah, he made a bold move really going to League One last season. Has kicked on massively this year in the Championship as well. So yeah, I'm hopeful that he might get a shout, especially when Heimer's name dropped him with some of the season press. So I think he could come in for Taylor, because Taylor hasn't kicked the ball for Ipswich since. Hasn't really impressed for Ireland. Has only really impressed for Ireland when he's been that impact sub role, which I think is his kind of role for Ipswich as well, if he's going to play for them mainly. So yeah, he has a lot to prove. So yeah, I would probably bring Coventry in for him, to be honest.
And before we just come on to the attackers there, I mean, this is a little bit of a chat that me and Conor are having here, is very similar to our Raw Plus episodes, which is worth $4.99 for this month alone, where me and Conor and Dave got into it in depth about Heimer and chatted about the development basically of Heimer's squads with Ireland, and talked back about that June game against Luxembourg when we travelled over there. Only about 350 Ireland fans went over there, and just what a wasted opportunity. I mean, thinking about John Joe Patrick Finn being picked and played in that game, and Conor Coventry, I don't think he would have been. Was there a reason why he wasn't picked at that time? Can you remember playoff, was it or not?
League One, probably because he's playing in League One. We don't pick lads at League One usually.
But just think missed opportunity, and we got into it a good 2 hours episode, well worth a long journey.
It no hold barred. That was it was real. There was no leash on us there. There was no holding back because we didn't have a huge amount of we didn't have a huge amount of people that would have been watching, obviously, to maybe give out to us. Or
well worth
it's
listening to. Yeah, it's good, and we're getting into a little bit of it again. Similarly here, right? Just on the attackers, do you want to go first on this one?
Yep, go to controversy way. Obviously, Ferguson obviously would have in Ida. He'd have in, but a bit worried about his current minutes. But there's no one really to test him there. Troy Parrott, if he doesn't play this weekend, obviously the squad's in this Thursday, but I'm sure Heimer will have spoke to him and he'll know whether he's in the squad this weekend for AZ. And if he's not in the squad for this weekend for AZ, that'll rule him out. Like he won't come back into Ireland then, or he won't. I mean, actually, they'll play on Thursday, won't they, in the Europa League or the Conference League? So maybe he might be involved. No, wait, the Conference League doesn't start. Oh, the Conference League does start this Thursday, doesn't it? Yeah, because Shells and Rovers are this week. So we don't know what there is. If he's not in, I would tempted to maybe just bring Rockovat in and throw him in now, or Louis Barry bring a winger in, because as much as I love Sinclair, he's just not done anything this season to warrant a call up. Same with Tom Cannon. I just don't know who else you'd kind of bring in as that striker option. If Callum Robinson could possibly, but that's kind of like he's playing in League One. The end of the day, I know he's an experienced head and he's an older head and he's quite well liked, and I was hoping maybe Obafemi might have scored at the weekend and put himself back in the picture, because I just love Obafemi. I think he's actually a brilliant player, but he wasn't in the squad. Actually, a Bochum fan texted me on Instagram to say that he wasn't in the squad because he's overweight. He's not fit enough yet. He's overweight, which is not a good thing. He said waste of talent, but I asked him to send me on the link, or just tell me, did the manager say that, or is he just guessing that because he's that kind of body type? But he hasn't replied to me yet, so I don't know.
I hope you don't watch the pod and talk about sending a message about me.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm waiting to reply to see actually if it was said by the manager. He's just presuming it because that Obafemi has that massive chest and massive arse where he just looks huge. But yeah,
I am the Obafemi of the pod.
But yeah, I wish Obafemi was back in, but yeah, he's not going to come back in. Johnny Kenny, I don't think he can be picked, to be honest. He played 16 minutes in fairness the weekend, but that's all he's played since the last international break. And yeah, the questionable ones is obviously Johnston, I think, would stay in, McAteer would stay in, Shio would stay in, Azaz would stay in, Johnston. But as I said it earlier, get Andrew Moran in, Sammy Smodix, you're gone. I don't want him in the squad, to be honest. Nice fella, good player, offers stuff in certain games, but he's just not an international style player. Doesn't fit it for Ireland. He's a good finisher, but he lacks some abilities to keep hold of the ball, make things happen, get on the ball in a half turn. He plays on the wing for Ireland, where he plays for Ipswich, and doesn't really offer us anything. I've seen enough of him in green to say, yeah, he just doesn't suit international football, especially when he left last camp early and went and played for Ipswich that weekend. Didn't sit well with a lot of Irish fans, but that's not why I wouldn't pick him. I just think Andy Moran's a better player, and we need that more technical style player in our squad that can make something happen, especially at home against Armenia. So yeah, I would bring Andy Moran in over Smodix. I just don't. I think it's like you'd have one of Azaz and Smodix, I think, alongside Moran, and in my eyes, it would be. I think Azaz is miles better, especially technically. He's a lot better than Smodix. Smodix is a great finisher, but he's not going to get those chances for Ireland, in all honesty.
That's it, yeah.
Or maybe
he hasn't done enough. He hasn't done enough for me in Ireland, though. You know, like, and all the long wait and all this kind of all the controversy in a way, the speculation with Stephen Kenny and was he falling out or what was happening, and then it's a long wait to get him in there, and he's just flat to deceive, sadly, and it didn't sit well on me them leaving the squad. I mean, a bit of a cult hero as well for achieving very little in an Ireland shirt. I mean, I know we have flags with him and everything and sing a song about him, but I think that's just the modern fan base, and it's a good crack in a bar singing about him. But you know, he's not done anything to back up with performances. So I can see his place being under threat. It'd be interesting to see if it is what the reaction would be. And you know, like I said, I'd like to see. I mean, I've classed Festi as a defender in my squad, but right wing back kind of role. But yeah, I think we've got more than enough in attack. I think it's that midfield what worries me, and being really solid there. I can't see Cousin Will getting in there at the moment, as I said, but there's no one scoring goals. I think Robinson would be a step backwards because yes, he can do it. I mean, if there was a massive if Evan was out, I'd have no and Troy, I'd have no hesitation in saying, well, Jesus, we'd be massively struggling. And I'd be going, right, well, Callum Robinson is fit and he's going to score goals and he's got that international experience.
But the thing is, I'm just thinking back to last season. Callum Robinson scored his highest goal scoring season in the Championship last year. Didn't he score 12 or something with Cardiff and got their Player of the Year before he actually got injured towards the end of the season? And he was doing really well. We thought maybe we were going to call up in March, but he went with Sinclair over him, who obviously wasn't scoring goals, but he was playing really well for Bristol City at the time. When people just look at stats and think, oh, he's not playing well, when he was playing well. So it's interesting. Like, would he go with Sinclair and just give him that bit of confidence? But because he doesn't seem to be the biggest fan of Callum Robinson. If he didn't pick him in March when he was doing well in the Championship, why would he pick him now? I know we had better up, like the lads were a lot better form last March than they are now. But it's like, if you didn't pick him in March, what makes you think that? Will he actually go for him now? But I wouldn't be against, because he's a nice guy, and he is. Ogbenes spoke highly of him in the last camp, saying how well he helped him when he first came into the squad and stuff. So obviously he's a leader or such, or maybe not a leader on the pitch, but off the pitch, great around the camp and stuff, and is good with the lads. So yeah, I wouldn't be really against it. But it could be the sort of thing, Martin, either that he might just pick two strikers, and Smodics could be that third option as such if we're really stuck with a striker, and you could bring in another player in instead of if it's powered side, might bring in an extra midfielder for him, and you have Smodics as that extra striker, or as I say, Andy went in for Smodics, and then you have Smodics kind of there for power instead.
Yeah, I mean, we will do our preview shows, of course, and when the squad's out, we'll chat a bit more of what we think Ireland are going to do, obviously, once we do know the squad. But yeah, look, there's lots of options in there. We spoke about Chidozie Ogbene perhaps playing off Ferguson, as he's played really well before. There's lots of options in that, and I think even it's very important to remember, heading over to Lisbon, we're not going to have a lot of the ball. We're going to need out balls, basically. We're going to be like counter-attacking football, basically trying to contain them, and they're going to be a phenomenal challenge for us, of course. So we've got it all covered here on Lansdowne Raw. So make sure you have liked this video, subscribe to the channel, get notifications, of course, and also follow us on all our social media platforms where you get notified of all our nonsense chat. And when we have our fantastic shows out, which you can listen to also on Spotify or wherever you get your podcast. Right, we're going to come on to a good bit of crack now, where this is where we do really love this part of the show. This is coming on to your comments. So just over 1,000 you watching this evening. Thank you for your support as usual. Lots of interaction, I'm sure, as well. And here we go straight away with Zed Lepelin 1-0. Martin, I don't know what that was about.
I guess when I had my mic muted earlier.
Oh yeah,
okay. Icon.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. And then we had Adam Curtis Ndaba, and Honison should be called up to the squad. Went to the Rovers game on Friday, and Honan was a standout on the left side. He should be called up and played in that left wing back role. Pace, power, and skill. Great assist for Rovers' first goal. Something we lack on that left wing back. I mean, look, I do follow the League of Ireland. We do a fantastic show, of course. Don't follow it as much as you, Conor. But Honohan, I'm hearing the name every week, of course. He's got to be a contender as Player of the Year over there as well.
Yeah, he definitely is a contender for Player of the Year. I'm sure his teammate Matt Healy would have something to say about that as well. He's done really well for Rovers. But I think he is. He probably will end up being top three, and he probably would I vote for him number one? It's a good question. Michael Duffy obviously is an option as well. He's been excellent for Derry. It's a good question. If I was thinking of top three, or Dawson Devoy, it could end up being maybe Dawson Devoy, Honahan, and then Duffy or Healy in the top three. But it's good. And actually, Corey Ndaba, we didn't speak about him other than Ibig, but yeah, another 20 minutes, and he got 90 minutes midweek against AC Milan at the San Siro and the Coppa Italia. I know we spoke about it, but they got a red card and stuff on the midweek show we did. But he could be an option left back as well, especially because Heimer loves size in the back line and tall, physical fullbacks, especially with Jimmy Dunn. It's kind of what Jimmy Dunn's like on the right hand side. But and Daba's now playing in a higher standard in Italy. But yeah, I think Honan is a real option. I think it could be too soon for Corey Ndaba. Just he hasn't seen enough of him really, and it's not like he's come in and he's tore it up, even though he's done quite well for Lecce. But yeah, probably too soon for him.
Yeah. And just on the League of Ireland, of course, Mason Mealy was 18, wasn't he, last week? So they've done the kind of press photos, or were they old photos? I saw of him unveiling with the Spurs shirt.
Oh,
you see them?
Excuse me. That's the
Huh?
old photos, you eat.
They are really old. I didn't know what they were. I'm
Yeah,
just
it's
saying
when he
I hadn't
signed in
seen them, had
January.
I?
Yeah, it's when you
Yeah,
once it's
no.
that page started posting about media signing for Spurs, and everyone was
That's
commenting
it.
about
Yeah.
you're about 6 months late.
Yeah, but look,
Yeah, don't
yeah,
worry.
but people were sending me that photo, and then I'm going, oh, that doesn't look right, and that's why I asked you, my League of Ireland
Yeah.
expert, the
You could have
question.
asked me. You could have asked me online, not in front of 1,000 people watching
No,
live.
because I can't. I don't mind asking that and making myself look like an idiot. I don't care
Yeah.
about that because I'd rather do that than. So I want you to take notice of my message, not with like I didn't want you to miss that key point in the 1,000 messages we exchange, and that's just not even including voice notes every day.
Dave.
Adam Curtis also says, do you think Hamer should bench Knight and Cullen after previous performance, bring back in Malumbi and play Boston or Phillips beside him?
No, I don't think.
No,
You can't bench. You
No,
can't bench.
Cullen will play.
You can't.
Cullen, let's be fair
Or,
as well. Cullen was injured as well, wasn't he? Carrying an
yeah,
injury. So
he played through a hamstring injury in the second game against Armenia, which we can't forget. A lad, that's a lad who played through an injury, and someone went home after getting injured. Which I don't want to say, but it is that's what
thing, yeah.
did happen. Yeah. But yeah, I don't think you can drop Cullen because you just don't have another number 6. And that was it. Coventry, in fairness, is a 6. He could play as a 6, but maybe you'd probably play 2 6s the way or as Mr. Paddy McCarthy likes to speak about the 2 number 6s. It'll be with 2 6s. I think Cullen is the first name, especially he's done quite well in the Premier League. So I think it'll be Cullen and who plays beside him if Knight's out. Or I think, as we spoke about, Martin, we should do a preview of Portugal. I want to go back to the 3-5-2, which we did under Kenny, which we had 3 in midfield. With I would want it to be Cullen, Knight, and Malumbi, where Knight kind of plays the highest of the 3, the triangle in midfield. But yeah. Did you actually remember when I said about who I want to play up front beside Ferguson? Did you go back and think actually he's right and that's what I want to happen? Because I knew you would think that. Yeah. Have you decided
I just think he's so important, Chio, for our team, and he was under Kenny as well, and that's why it's so important to get him back. So yeah, I could see that happening actually. John O'Mahony, whatever happened to John Ryan? I remember him going to Italy, but not heard anything since. And are Aaron Drinan and Jazz Jacob good enough for the championship?
JSKB, I mean, Kabaya.
JSKB.
JSKB is the lad who scored 2 penalties in the
shootout.
Yeah. John Ryan, he's at Reading now. He's at their 21s. He's had towards the ACL last season, signed from last year. But yeah, another player that went to Italy was a Sassuolo and gone to Italy, which is the greatest league in the world for young players, which they're great at promoting young lads and having academies. I hate that place. But yeah, he's at Reading now, and he's working his way up through the. He's played quite a bit for Reading actually in the. What's the Papa John's Trophy called these days? It's not a pizza one anymore.
Johnson Paint, is it? No,
that's about 10 years ago. I can't remember what it's called anymore. Is it the Bristol Street Motors? Is it Bristol Street Motors?
I don't know.
That's what it was last year. I don't know if he still is. Yeah, but that's where he's played a bit in the first team, that, and especially he's an Irish manager as well. So if he does well, he'll hopefully keep coming through. Maybe he'll get that spot, and he's an option for left back for the 21s. But yeah, Aaron Drinan, JSKB championship yet? No, I wouldn't think so. Even though Aaron Drinan is the top goal scorer in the whole EFL, 8 goals so far this season. He's doing really well. He started the season. He started the season really well for Swindon, scored his last 6 games. But yeah, he's I think maybe League One next season. Probably the 2 of them, Cabia and Drinan. Maybe I don't think championship yet. I think that's probably a step too soon.
All right. Gareth McGann, how many minutes out of the approximately 190 will Lowell play in the window?
Martin.
I'd like to see him in there. You know, I'd be picking him in my team. I think he'll do a fantastic job in there.
No.
What will he play?
You think? What will he play?
He'll be He won't play in Portugal. He'll get a half in against Armenia. No, he won't start him against Armenia. He'll get 20 minutes in Armenia against Armenia at home.
He gets 7 minutes against Armenia.
Yeah, okay. There you go.
I don't see him taking it, doing it. He's not. He's thinking it's not a risk. It's just he just won't do it.
Yeah. And that's the thing with our squad. I mean, we've made a few wholesale changes there, but I'm not expecting wholesale changes for Heimer at all. Nick Can. I'll caveat that saying that it's just we will know who he blames for that last window of his squad.
Okay, so if he was going back, if he goes with a back three against Portugal, I would much rather Boston on the right side of that back three, Jacob Ryan. Being honest with you, I'd much rather because his ability on the ball, just ability would take pressure off us and cool under pressure with the pressure we're going to be under. I'd much rather Boston there than Jacob Ryan. That might be a bold shout, but I do think in a year's time we're going to be seeing Boston playing in the Premier League, and we'll be thinking he's already a better player than O'Brien. So
yeah, I think so. Nick can't see this current Irish team winning any games, and do people think that Bradley will be at Shamrocks Rovers next season?
Yeah, if the Ireland job isn't there.
Yeah, and he also says Bazunu's not a great keeper, and neither is Kelleher. And he says, since Ireland are at the World Cup, would it be worthwhile checking out the under 21 players?
You should be watching them anyway, but not. There's no need.
Not in the context.
We're not out of the World Cup yet. Actually, Mr. O'Neill actually agrees with Mr. Martin O'Neill. Was asked about being out of the World Cup qualifiers yet, and he said he was on off the ball, and he said we're not out of it yet. It's not over yet. I know it looks bad, but we're not out of it yet. It's only 2 games are done. In fairness, he must have been watching us, Martin. He must have been watching us, but yeah. In fairness, I agree with them. My respect goes out to him for saying because it's not done yet. Thing is, it's not done yet. But then he said he thinks Roy Keane would be a good Ireland manager. Then
But with that though, you got to remember when we were qualifying for tournaments with Martin O'Neill, very lucky. You can get a result like that. We got a late result under him, in the group. In one of them, I think was it Poland maybe, and those points they are just so key.
Germany away.
These results. It was Germany away as well. Yeah, but we had that knack under him of getting late goals, and not losing games and just not giving up basically. And of course, unbelievable when John O'Shea got that equaliser against Germany at that time. But and very important points when it matters.
Oh, was it Denmark? Or was it Aidan O'Brien scored that late goal? Was it Denmark away?
I think it might have been.
O'Brien scored.
Yeah, could have been.
O'Brien, yeah. It was the World Cup
qualifying.
qualifying.
No, was it not Poland? No, that was a friendly. I'm trying to remember. Anyway,
if
Dave was on, he'd remember. He's a better member than me on that stuff because he doesn't drink.
And I'm too young. I'm too young to remember.
All right. Donny Nagel was so excited seeing our players before the season, but can't believe how poor they've been so far. Even those that were great last season, like Collins, O'Brien, etc., have badly regressed.
Yeah, I agree big time. Yeah, because even our donations for heading the game, Martin, over the last couple of weeks, it's Irish players scored in the top 5 leagues in the Championship and Portugal and stuff, where there's heavy Irish involvement. And over the last 2 weekends, there's been 0 Irish goal scorers in all them leagues. And I'd say you'd have to go back 3 years to maybe see that before, because it's always used to be Championship players. It used to be always Irish players scoring. Even the week before it was it just Boston and John Egan were the only 2 scored, and they were 2 centre halves. Like, it's just not been. Even players like Finazaz has gone backwards so far this season. Sammy Smodics hasn't done well so far this season. Didsey hasn't even scored the goals so far this season. It's not even. It just says it's not been it will turn around. Like, the thing is, it will turn around at club level. It just always does, and it will go through a patch. We'll have some weekend, Martin, where Evan will score a hat trick. Finazaz will score 2 and assist 2. These things happen, but it's just been really disappointing to start the season. And actually, you were disappointed Evan didn't start the weekend? A lot of people getting all weird about it. The fact that
I think it's such a competitive league there, and they're going to manage him quite well, I think. And yes, I wasn't too concerned about that. But I'm just going to hold up this book now. This is the Bible, Complete Republic of Ireland. Republic of Ireland FC, it says, but that's all our results from 1926 to 2020, and I'm been proved right again. Republic of Ireland 1, Poland 1. This was in 2015, and Shane Long scored in the 91st minute, and that actually came about 4 or 5 games after the Germany 1-1 in Gelsenkirchen when John O'Shea scored in the 94th minute. So those were in the same qualification group for that, and got some key. We did get late.
Was that the time?
Martin O'Neill.
Was that the time Lewandowski was rolling around the ground for like 20 minutes every time he got touched after they scored? Yeah, I remember that game. Remember Lewandowski? It was the biggest cheat of a game I'd ever watched in my life. He used to roll around like a little baby.
But yeah, that was the one as well. Not forgetting that whole campaign as well started off against Georgia in Tbilisi, and that was when Aidan McGeady 90th minute winner as well. So massive results in that qualification campaign. Of course, at Shane Long, of course, at home as well. But we had a knack of scoring late goals. God, I'm looking back at this. It's just it's sad, really. Look, we beat Switzerland at home. Kieran Clark scored. I'm sure that was a nice little reference for someone there. But yeah, Kieran Clark, and but that was incredible. Them games then. Just we were beating good sides then. I didn't actually realise this is the game in the fog. I was actually at in Bosnia.
Yeah.
I can't obviously I didn't see Robbie Brady's goal because no one did because it was far end. And I know Dzeko equalised 3 minutes later. It was 82nd. We scored so late there. 82nd minute we scored in that game. I thought that was probably just really early in the second half, and it was like a holding on job. But no, look, that's what it is. But very as well, a little buy that book, to be honest. Lots of get all the teams and all that kind of stuff. So it's a little Bible of Irish football. Anyway, back to the comments. Adam Curtis, is Owen Eldon and Morehouse available for the 21s campaign, especially with us facing England's under 21s? And that's going to be an exciting game alone, isn't it? Conor, we're all going to try and get off to Birmingham. You're certainly going. I'm
going.
Negotiating.
You will be there. Don't you
I'll
negotiate. You will be there. You will be there. You have to say it. You don't negotiate. You can't just be negative. Dave won't be there because he's a fake fan. But yeah, you'd hope. Hopefully they'll be named in Thursday squad. I have no clue whether their paperwork is all finished or not, but I just really hope it is done because they're two top players, and you want to have them in before England because it's Slovakia this month, which is going to be a really, really tough game. It says it's the second hardest game, especially at home. It's one game you have to go and get 3 points in. So yeah, hopefully Elding and Morehouse will be both in. I'd say it's probably more straightforward for Morehouse because the Elding thing is more complicated with FIFA. Morehouse is just getting the paperwork done in time, so hopefully he'll be in on Thursday's squad anyway, and Elding would really hope for as well because two of them are certain starters with Elding on the right hand side and Morehouse is at number 10 because Morehouse has been excellent for Leyton Orient. But yeah, 11, I'd say 99% chance it's definitely done for the England game in November. It's just hopefully whether October they're done for.
Yeah, looking forward to that in the game, of course. So it's going to be a decent little game to go to. Tim Cohan, all these players are bang average. Thanks, Tim. Gaelic edits. Kelleher redeems himself with a penalty save. He was at fault for Sesko's goal. They're lucky that Amarin is arguably the worst manager in Premier League history. Andrews wishes he could play Amarin every week. Tony Nagel says the squad names will tell us a lot about our coaching team. No way can O'Shea, Taylor, Phillips and Kenny be in the next squad. So that for Donny, O'Shea is a little bit of a scapegoat there. But...
No, the thing is he has been quite poor for Ireland, but he definitely will be in the squad.
Yeah, he's there, yeah. P Ireland with a nice Gork City avatar. Is that what it's called? Festi needs to play, lads.
Yeah.
Franco from California, big loyal supporter of the pod and a Lansdowne Raw plus supporter as well.
He's not from California. Wait, hold on. He's from Ireland. He just lives in California. Don't be saying that's accusing him of being American. He's Irish. He's not from California. Jeez. Don't be so disrespectful to Franco.
Listen, when I'm staying at his next year at the World Cup and you're not.
Oh yeah, you're the one that's disrespecting him saying he's from California when he's from Ireland.
He loves his flask anyways. Great quality and price. Highly recommend. A great way to support the pod. Yeah, thank you again for your support, Frank. I hope you will. Downtown 123. How you doing? Ida is struggling. Need to keep Kenny. Call up Festi and maybe Key.
Josh Key at Swansea, the fullback,
or Sykes, Malumbi, and Coventry in midfield.
See a mixture of Eamon Dumpy and GS, but Josh Key's not going to get in all honesty. It's not gonna. He's not going to come in because Coleman's going to come in, so he won't come in.
Yeah, I'm just reading ahead. Sorry, Jose Kabaya is loved at.
No, say it again. Say it again.
Kabaya.
No, first name is wrong as well.
What? Go then. Jays.
Yeah, you said Jazzy.
Jays. Okay, Jays. Kabaya. Kabia. Is loved at Grimsby Town and Hebis happy there.
He is happy.
He is happy.
He is loved there.
Okay. And that's Martin Dillon, some Grimsby Town Ireland Sports Club on Facebook. Fair play, Martin. Thanks for your support.
Martin.
Here comes Aaron. Aaron caused a lot of trouble for us during the week. Well, lads, joined late watching the presidential debate. Forgot to say, absolutely loved the video on what you wanted for the next window. Great laugh as always. Is Dave all right from his joking? And O'Brien struggled tonight. Somerville was class. Are you not worried about Ferguson? In all fairness, Dovby topic is shite. The fact he scored now has him as their main man. Ferguson isn't he getting a shot of? So how you doing, Aaron? All good to hear from you. But yeah, great suggestion, Aaron, one of our Raw Plus supporters, and come up with a great idea for us to.
Yeah, just don't give us an idea. Don't give us an idea that's
Takes
2
2
hours
hours.
long the next time. But yeah,
we
you
honestly we said like there's a little bit behind the scenes stuff now, but we honestly said like this will probably take about 20 minutes to have about a chat about this. We'll all give our views, and then we just.
But what
set
though he said
ourselves up.
about topic? Answer the question. Are you worried?
Oh yeah, topic is shite. The fact are you not worried about Ferguson? In all fairness, topic is shite. No. Are you worried?
No. Because shite, you've said it, Aaron. In fairness, it was a good header he scored the other day, but like he's just not in Ferguson's level. And Gasperini knows it. The Roma fans know it. His hold-up play, his link-up play, his football brain is just not on Evan's level. Once Evan gets the first goal, it'll take a bit of nerves off him. And the thing is, it's not like he's desperate for goal. It's just the fact that you want that burden off his shoulder. Hopefully, he'll start on Thursday in the Europa League, and that'll be the first goal.
Yeah. Exactly, yeah, we're watching that, of course, and we will keep you all updated on Lansdowne Raw on all our social media platforms, and of course, Rep Tracker as well. Nick Can, Owen Eldon, and Morehouse are eligible to play for the Irish under-21s. Aaron Gubbins also asked, are there any tickets around for the Portugal game? Not that I know of, but the FAI have encouraged people who are not travelling now who got tickets, give them back to the FAI to reallocate to people. I think it was basis of supporters liaison officer Gary Spain said, if they're near enough sorted everybody out who'd been to one game in the kind of criteria that it needed. So if you're in Wembley, you basically got sorted out. Nick Can also message here, FAI dismal failure at the recent government meeting. That's obviously the Oireachtas. We spoke about that on a previous pod, so do go back in the archives and check that one out. Interesting chat about that. The chance of getting 8 million yearly funding or the prospect of a new football federation coming into being.
I don't think you can't hold these mistakes from 15, 20 years ago against the future of Irish. Why are you holding back the future of Irish football getting funding because of mistakes people made 20 years ago? It's just delaying it. And then another story will come out from 10 years ago, and then it'll delay it even further. Like, there's no benefit in things. The money's not going to the FAI. The money's going to these League of Ireland clubs who are putting into their academy, whatever, full-time staff or facilities. And like, what's the benefit of not? Oh, well, I just don't get it, Martin. It's 4.5 million a year they want at the moment. Like, just give the clubs the money. Like, it's just ridiculous. Like,
biggest biggest sport in Ireland with interaction and participation, of course, as well. So we need to fund it. Government needs to support that as well. And we can keep knocking the FAI and being all negative about it and the past. I think you've got to just kind of put that in a room and go, right, we're going to have people there who are crisis managers and going to sort out all that nonsense and give those people who have been affected by it, of course, their say and whatever they need. But we've got to rebuild Irish football and be positive about it and embrace that and a bit of a PR drive on it. I think, it's very difficult for people who are just new in the FAI now, as we said, coming into it, and they're just coming in and they're being asked to explain the issues that have been caused by other people or weren't even there. So very, very hard to see how that could actually be accountable for that. Aaron also says, are you all staying in the same hotel for the Portugal game? I'm not staying near them.
No, I'm not in the same hotel. I'm in an
not,
apartment with a couple. I'm with a couple other lads in an apartment, so I'm not with in the same hotel as Dave, because every time I stay in the same hotel, he says, "Oh yeah," he's always like, "Oh, I've booked this hotel. It's quite nice. It's 4-star hotel. It's quite nice." Also being fucking shite. Like doing it in Armenia, it was shite. And his recommendations are just never.
He likes a little.
He
likes his nap. He likes his nap. He works very hard, but he likes a nap. He likes his little time alone. But yeah, look, we must work out where we are all staying. I know where I'm staying. I'm actually staying not too far from the airport because that's not near the stadium, I think. So it's a case of going down and then to the kind of town and then going back out for the same kind of reason. That was my plan. He also says, have you a video of the Portuguese fan talking about us coming up? Also, have you a few videos planned for the World Cup games? Yeah, we've got a lot of stuff coming out, and we're working on lots of ideas, but we will.
Haven't done the video with the Portuguese fan yet because neither of us know what squads are going to be there. So We can't say as of yet. And so
but we will.
Hopefully,
but we will have
that
loads of
be sorted,
content. We'll have loads of content for you. This is where it's essential viewing. You need to subscribe to the channel so you're getting all the notifications of when our shows are coming out. We'll have it all covered from the press conference on Thursday. Looking forward to that announcement of the squad. That's the senior team and also the under-21. So really looking forward to that. Seeing what way home is going to approach these games, and also obviously Jim Crawford with the under-21s. Let's not forget that we need to support them as well. And we've got lots and lots of content coming up as well. But thank you for your support tonight. Thank you for your interaction, of course, with the pod. Most interactive Irish football podcast out there. Conor, thanks for your wonderful insight, doing big, keeping up with all the Irish lads. We're going to qualify still, aren't we, Conor? We're going to be confident. We're all off to Lisbon. We're all off to Dublin as well for the home game against Armenia. And this is where you have to follow the channel because we're the essential place for Irish football. Thank you for your support this evening, and good night and God bless.